So seems Dungeon 3 will be here maybe like a minute or two late, but that's fine. We'll wait, no rush.
Was this meeting going to be shorter or like longer than the last one we just had?
Probably roughly the same.
Be a 6-hour meeting.
Yeah, I couldn't make an RP set. This is the best I could do.
Oh.
The meeting can be really quick. It just depends if there's a lot of questions.
Oh, this isn't bad.
We encourage questions. We want to answer everything that anybody has. We want there to be transparency. And if you have a question you're not feeling comfortable to ask in front of everyone, just message someone off stream or at a Discord, something like that. Wonder what Besh's ETA is.
This is a good outfit.
Just saw your message, Brennan.
Super, if you have a different priority to go to, that's no big deal.
Bro, Tino, why do you keep bringing in like white hoods and cloaks and shit every time I see you, dude? Like,
What are you talking about?
you're obsessed with it, man.
The best cosplay you can
I
think of with a
literally-
white hood.
Yeah, right? Yeah, this is the best cosplay, just some racist ass outfit.
It was the first items I found that matched. I wasn't even
Good
thinking of
lord.
that.
Our group is full. Need invite, message Tina.
Yeah, just whisper
Oh,
me
that was funny.
INV.
Alright, I'll be right back. Oh.
Where are you, Broden? I can't even target
Turning
you.
quest. Yeah, I'm turning quest.
I have big stick.
I'm questing dog. I got shit to do.
Kazak's over here fucking growing weed.
Now imagine if we all dressed up in my transmog. Why is my death log working now randomly?
Someone just died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone died.
Oh, he was in the guild, that's why, right?
Yep.
Who's got the flute?
By
Ooh,
the
the
way,
piccolo.
everybody that's sitting here on an epic mount is expected to donate 50 gold for the main tank to get an epic mount.
Oh! Everyone switch mounts. Hurry.
Everyone switch mounts.
They probably sold the old amount for money for the epic.
Everyone switch mounts.
Someone whispered me, did a mon of your tribe pass away?
You know what?
Mod of your tribe.
Do you think we're holding a little concession for him?
There he is.
That's funny.
Mod of your tribe.
I love how people walk around us.
Yeah, I can't get in that way.
Does anyone know how to make names only appear when speaking on Discord? Or no?
Yes. So you're gonna go. I don't
Put
know.
it over here.
Game overlay in your settings,
Oh, it's there.
and display users only when speaking.
Appreciate it.
Got you.
That's when someone pulls a war boss in an org and we just all die.
The cleaner comes rolling in.
I have 3 quests turn in. I'm kind of balling.
I'm about to have a crazy transmog. Just give me 25 seconds.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see your next KKK Grand Dragon.
Chill, it's not that.
What the fuck?
Grand
There
Wizard
it is.
Tina.
Grand Wizard, yeah. Where'd he go? Oh, man. You have an Orbit Deception or something? Yes, he does.
Let's go.
They're actually pretty cheap, only like 18 gold. I mean, it might be worth it for you, because I know sometimes you don't like being a cow.
Yeah, but they have to be a gnome then.
Oof.
Can't just
That's
call
even
people a
worse.
cow.
That's even, that's even worse, honestly.
Sorry, isn't it your political correct name like a bovine or something, or is that a horse?
That's equine.
Yo, what transmog is on this dwarf? What the hell is this shit? Look like a leprechaun.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Thanks for the campfire, Starry.
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you for attending Despair's first tribute chest ceremony.
I shall drop Ren at 4.
Alcors is in there.
Someone trade him a large fang. Some dumpster fire loot. Tina, you got deer?
Yeah, I'll invite little deer. Baby deer. I don't know why I always call him little deer, so that's his name now.
Little Bambi.
Alright, what's with all the hats? I want a hat.
Pimp hat.
Gotta earn your stripes.
That's
Go
crazy.
to
dog.
Stratham. Get the hat.
Guild raid in Stratham. 40 of us roll up.
Took me like 3 runs to get this hat. Where everyone in a hat has to wear a suit.
Rip.
Rip.
Who died?
Someone died to a South Shore guard. Level
It
33.
was nowhere even close
Well.
to it. I was on the other side of the river. It still got me.
Oh no. Fallen soldier.
I'm getting better at your glitch step.
Fuck are you people
Should have came to the meeting. The meeting is safe. We could have beaten that guard up. I'm sorry, man. That sucks.
Oh, that's okay.
Those guards don't mess around.
Well, I just got linked a 40 slide PowerPoint for Silken Court raid tonight.
I wish I could have seen where it came from.
They're usually like under the trees across the river too, so like it's really hard to see.
It ran back past where the farm was, though. So that's, I don't know.
Hmm.
How many people you got, Tina?
1, 2,
Faster than my sweat fog.
Bull Shark needs an invite as well.
I still got room.
Never mind. Got it.
I'm gonna give people roles as they join, so bear with me here. And then as soon as you have a role, you can change your nickname. And
You're good. I'm already on the layer, so we're chilling. Alright, we're here.
Oh, it just comes right in the middle, huh? Yeah, if you don't have a hat.
If you don't have a hat, get out of the middle.
I got
Middle
I got
middle is
20
for hat
I got-
wearers only.
This is
I
the
got
hat pit.
23 on me.
This is the pimp hat pit.
I'm
Sure,
gonna go
Pimp
buy
hat
a
pit.
I got a better hat than
Do I
everyone.
get? Massive.
Red hat's
Shard, we
lame.
gotta go run it again because I need this hat.
Yeah,
This
Shark,
is
let me
Tarab.
grab a
Can I get
fire
an
water.
invite?
Yeah, message Tina.
Yeah, just whisper me INV.
Let me get a fire water, big guy.
We should make a train with our mounts.
Oh.
Can someone start streaming it?
I thought we could make a different kind of train.
Okay, chill, dog.
Like a centipede.
Yeah, but like a human centipede
Torn
kind of type
centipede.
thing.
I got room for one more. Is that 80 people?
We'll go ahead and get started here in a moment, just so we have a good time frame and we don't keep everybody here all night.
What's going on over
Please,
there?
please save your questions for the end, or at least the end of each topic, so we don't spend too much time on one thing at that moment. That being said, I appreciate everybody coming to this meeting. We've had so many people join us the past couple weeks. And, we went from having a couple 60s on to consistently, 30, 40. We're at the point where, we hit 130 members online at a given time throughout the evenings, which is huge. That being said, we'll start off by kind of going over some stuff. Evie's going to go over a consume list. We're going to post that in the Discord tonight as well, so you guys can prep. Even the people who are not on the roster, who are on tentative, or are just leveling, you guys can kind of focus on what to save for, because spots are going to open up. We had over 90 people sign up for raid, so if you're not on this, don't take offense to it. It's not that we don't think you're qualified, because most of you are. I've played with a lot of you guys, and you're more than qualified to raid. We just don't have enough slots. That being said, a lot of people are asking about a second raid team. That's highly a possibility, especially when ZG comes out and we're doing 20-mans. We're definitely going to have groups for that as well. So just bear with us. Be patient as we get our first raid through cleared. I'm super excited. I know a lot of people are excited to raid. We just want to reassure everyone, if you're not raiding, you're still going to have a spot in the guild, right? You're still going to have potential to raid. There's still going to be, people are going to die, people are going to quit, IRL comes up, maybe someone can't make it, they have something going on. So just kind of be active and you'll find your spot within the raid. That being said, I would like everyone to focus on attunements this week coming up, right? Because it's 11th is the first trash clear. Even if you're not on the roster, if you're tentative, just kind of focus on your attunements. That way, if we need somebody or we do a second raid, whatever it may be, you could just hop right in and you're good to go. That being said, I know there's going to be some drama. I'm going to try to minimize that and set the tone right here. That if you want to go whisper someone, I didn't get a spot, or I feel like I should have a spot over this person, keep that to a minimum. I understand everyone wants to raid. That's why I try to put a focus on there's going to be spots that open up. And the people that take it the best and still have the best interest for the guild and progression are going to be the ones that we really focus on. I can tell you that. That being said, I know we have MC planned for the, was it 18th? Is that what we said? 18th? Yep. And we want to do Oni a day or two prior. We're going to put a poll for that as well, so we can go into MC with our own Onyxia buff. So we'll let you guys know when we put that poll up, and we'll go from there. Let's see here. What else do we want to go over? As far as enchanting recipes that drop within the raid, Reap, myself, I'm going to take the first round of enchanting materials. It's not that I don't trust anybody, but I know I'm not going anywhere, right? So I feel like it's just best on me. I put myself in positions where I'm at less risk. Even as a healer, I feel like I construct my groups in a way where it minimizes stuff or possibilities of death. That being said, the second round of enchants we have going to Split, which is one of our mages who's been very active in helping out everybody. That being said, we're not taking self-found characters into raid because we can't funnel you the materials you need. You can't help out the raid to the most extent that you can. So no self-found. We've had plenty of people who've turned off their self-found to get a raid spot and helped out the guild a ton, so we appreciate that. I recommend watching streams and whatever Discord live, whatever we have going for the raids, just in case you need to be slotted in, or you can see the tone of the raid, how we pull things, get familiar with it, because there's going to be spots that open. That being said, does any of the officers have anything about those topics? Oh, Reshi. Is Reshi in here?
Reshi wasn't able to
Yeah.
attend, but I talked to him earlier.
Okay. So Reshi is going to be our skinner for MC. So no one skins anything but Reshi. That way we can make sure the mats are going to the proper spot. And let's see, we got enchanting, skinning done. We got no self found, Anixia a day or two prior, attunement focus. Any officers want to hit on any of that? If
Just
we're
get attuned, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, let's just make sure I'll be available all this week. I don't have much going on, so I will help out. Let's just try and get groups together. Let's not do one person at a time. Let's try and make sure, you know, we've got groups of 4 or 5 people that all need it so we can get it all done for everyone.
Yeah, feel free to reach out on Discord to me and other officers as well. If you need attunement, I'm always fine with responding that way and logging on to help you all if I'm not already on.
Yeah. And I do appreciate everyone here. It's not like if you're not in the raid, you're not going to get as much priority or help. I can personally say all of you matter, and all of you will be just as much on my watch list as anybody else. So I don't want you to think, oh, I'm not going to raid, so they're not going to help with me here. That's not true, because you are a member of the team, regardless. That being said, we can go ahead. Do you want to do consumes or the roster explanation first?
Yeah, I can kind of lump it all together as soon as you're done talking about what you need to talk about. I'll kind of take it from there.
Yeah, the last thing is consumes. I know he's going to go over it, but the biggest ones we need are greater fire protection potions, dream foil, stone scale oils, mountain silver sage, black lotus. Those are the big ones, and we're all going to come together. He's going to give you a list, and we're going to put it in Discord of minimum kind of way person needs to bring individually, but that guild bank will be to funnel what people need extra of, or if you have a mishap or you can't quite come up with the required or minimum amount, that we're going to help you out with it. So don't stress too much about that. Any questions about any of that before we go to the roster or the list of consumes?
When we do give consumes, or is it acceptable if we just give the exact for our consumes to be made, or is the expectation to give more on top of that?
No, I mean, if you give the consumes for your person, then that's great. If you give more, that's also great. Just as long as you have yourself taken care of, it just needs a little bit of personal responsibility going into it. Everyone kind of needs to do the bare minimum. And it's not because we're parsing. I know Evie will probably touch on it. We don't care about how much damage you do. I don't care about how much healing you do. If you're doing the right mechanic, you're listening to the group, the goal is to get everybody alive. I don't care what drops in that raid loot-wise. I don't care if nothing drops. But if everybody gets through, we clear the content, and everybody's alive, then I'm cool with it. Like, that'll make me a happy person. So, to answer that question, just give what you can. As long as you take care of yourself, that's number one. We'll handle it. All right. I guess Evie, whenever you're ready, you can share screen. We'll start going over some of the roster consumes.
Just to kind of continue off of that question that Rick just asked. We now have my warlock that has every flask recipe in the game. I have all of the basically every consume you need for raid, but greater arcane elixirs. Asteria has that recipe, and I think Root or Tilts has another one as well. I can craft everything for you, so you know when it comes to having your consumes for raid, I would rather you have all of your consumes rather than worrying about helping everybody else. You know, as Reap said, help when you can, but take care of yourself first. The consume list on the sheet that we're going to share with you guys today, this is the minimum required. This is going to be based on a 2-hour raid. So I would suggest having extra. And there's even notes like, you know, I suggest Fury Warriors and Warlocks have more than 2 Petries. 2 Petries is the minimum. But I would suggest for classes that have larger threat issues, bring extra Petries because you can always Petri threat off. You know, if raid happens to go a little bit longer than 2 hours, you know, you need to have consumes to cover that. But generally, we're here to help you. If you aren't able to get all of your consumes or you need crafts done, you need to reach out to an officer and let us know so we can help you. I would rather you ask for help and get all of the consumes from us than show up to raid without consumes, because then I get angry.
We don't want that.
So I am going to share.
We may have to reshare this as well.
Yeah.
Like last.
So this will probably have to get reshared. But as of right now, this is the roster that we're planning to go in. We do have an open spot. Somebody happened to drop out last night, so we do have an open spot that we haven't filled yet for the roster. But I've pre-planned out groups, what buffs are going to be in each group, what totems are going to be dropping. So this is the idea of what our roster is going to be like for Molten Core.
I want to touch on something. A lot of our signups were after this roster was like 85% made, right? So just bear with us as we kind of work towards filling different spots if someone's uninterested or decides to drop out for whatever case.
Yep. And there's a lot of things that can still happen. So we do have, you know, based on people we've run with an interest that was shown in our like master list here. You know, there's spaces here, like these are the next fill-in people. These are the people we know that, hey, if something happens to a warrior, these are the people I can call on right away, right? These are our for sure benched in players that we just don't have a slot for this first raid. And I want to put emphasis on that this is just the first raid. This isn't the forever sheet that we're running with. It will change. I want to get everybody into raid, you know, that wants to raid as much as I can. But we, like I said, we've grown exponentially. We've had a lot of new people join the guild recently. And one thing, if you know me, is I'm always going to put the safety of the group first over everything. And so that's why we're constructing the comp the way that we are. If you have questions, concerns, if you don't see your name on this list, please don't take it personal. That's not what this is. Feel free to reach out if you're not comfortable talking to me. Reach out to Asteria, reach out to Reap, reach out to Bej, reach out to Oni or Tina. We'll explain it to the best of our ability. If your name isn't even on the list as a bench player, you're probably really new to the guild that we haven't really talked with yet. We want to talk with you. We want to get you on. We want to cycle you into raid when we can. But we need a little bit more time, and you know, we'll talk with you when we can. Feel free to reach out to us. This sheet will be posted. It will be locked for everybody. Only officers can edit it. The guild professions tab isn't 100% done yet. I'm also spending time doing our raid sheet here, where everything's going to be pre-planned out. Who's buffing what, who's decursing what, who's healing what. So I'm doing a lot of stuff to prep us for raid. This is our consume list. It's going to be in the tab here. Again, these are the bare minimum requirements, and everything on here is something that we can craft within guild. You just have to reach out. You know, there is things like target dummies, grenades. Obviously, if you're not an engineer, I don't expect you to drop a profession to get engineering. I'm just saying if you're a caster and you have engineering, you should have target dummies and some grenades to use. If you're melee, you should have sapper charges, grenades, and target dummies. On this list, I don't think any of this should be too much of a surprise. If you don't know, on line 4 here, these are the Badlands buffs where you turn in like boar lungs and things. They give you an hour buff and then another reusable hour buff in your bag. Since raid will be 2 hours, I would suggest picking 2 of those buffs to have. Sorry, Blasted Lands buffs, thank you. You know, so for melee, you're going to have the choice between strength, agi, and stamina. DPS is probably just going to take strength and agi. Tanks are probably going to take stam and strength. But these are expected, you know, and they are here. They're cheap enough to farm. They're pretty cheap on the auction house as well. Again, everything else here is available within guild. I am including dark runes or demonic runes for casters. If you don't know how those work, they do scale with spell power when they damage you and return mana. So it's something you don't pop just to pop it. You know, make sure that you're at full health. Make sure maybe you have a health stone to combo it with, or if you're a warlock, you want a shadow ward ahead of time. Mages can barrier ahead of time to mitigate that damage. And you want to make sure when you're using those, you're not going to pop them and kill yourself in raid.
Yep, that'd be awkward.
Other than that, that's pretty much what I have to cover for now. We will try to get the first Oni in a couple days ahead of time, and ideally it's going to try to be the similar comp to what we have here. I understand that we're adding in Oni last minute. Some people aren't going to be able to attend, so we're going to rely on bench lists. There was a question in chat, is this suggested or minimum? This is minimum. I don't foresee any of this being particularly difficult or expensive for anybody outside of flasks. It just requires a little bit of time in game, and if you need help, you reach out. We do have the guild bank we can craft.
Yeah, the guild's super helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. I was just gonna touch on like how helpful the guild is. We needed the Petri recipe, and literally maybe 15 people instantly reached out. So it's like sometimes you just gotta ask, and you'll get what you're looking for, within reason, obviously.
If you do have concerns, questions, comments, you can't get anything on this list, make sure you reach out. I will be leading prior to the raids. We will be setting up times to get buffs for people through Dire Maul Tribute. With Oni coming up, everybody should plan on the weekend that we're doing Molten Core on the 11th. There will be more than likely an Oni and a Ren that drop from one of the other guilds, where all the raiders are going to want to Chrono Boon that and hold that Chrono Boon for Onyxia. That way we can world buff when we get inside there, and we'll use that world buff there, and then we'll rebuff train for Molten Core, dropping our own Onyxia head. If you have questions, you don't know how Chrono Boon works, you don't know where to get one, again, reach out. We'll go through that with you. That being said, I think that's pretty much everything I had to cover. The last thing that gets brought up a lot is loot. We talked about this at last meeting. For the most part, loot is, for the first handful of raids, pretty predetermined. Certain loot will have priority to certain classes. Obviously, tanks will take prio for physical DPS loot for the most part. You know, healer tier is going to be prioed for the healers, like an enhancement shaman won't be rolling on the resto shaman set. Melee and casters do have prio on some items. The way loot will work in raid, to set the expectations for everybody now, all of the loot is just going to be master looted to more than likely Reap, Asteria, or Bej during raid. And then when we're done with raid, it will be handed out there, or if we're taking a break during the raid, we'll distribute the loot up to that point. Again, that's why we can't take self-found characters. The reason why loot's going to be handled that way is, yes, I do know the inherent risk of that in raid. There is a potential that person dies and we lose the loot, but we're willing to do that because when world buffs are ticking, it's more important to keep the raid tempo going and getting the raid completed within that time period. So that's something to keep in mind, and that's also why we're preparing these consumables, getting the world buffs, is to make the raid as smooth as possible so we can all get out of there alive. After loot is done, you know, when we're deep into Molten Core, I don't want to micro loot forever. I don't think that's anybody's goal, and it will change to more of a, if it's your bis, you're going to roll with other people that it's your bis for. And that's just the way it will go. It's really just making sure that the early loot gets funneled to the people that need it, and to the people that are staying alive and putting the effort in, and the people that have been helping the guild out. After that, like I said, the goal is not to micromanage loot forever.
Yeah. And I do want to point on something in regards to the roster. We'll take questions about the loot here. I understand that some people are gonna leave the guild because they don't see their names on a raid slot, and I'm perfectly okay with that. We're not keeping anyone here. We're not forcing anyone to stay. That's why I wanted to reiterate that raid slots are going to open. But you got to think other raids are going to they're going to have their own system. You might not like it. You might like it more. So if you want to experiment and try a different guild, that's fine. We are a little laid back, but we want to be focused on what we're doing. I've already got DMs like, "Hey, sorry, I thought I was going to get a raid slot. I'm going to go somewhere else." That's fine. I'm still going to focus on raid. I'm still going to focus on people who have potential to be in raid, and no one can expect a raid slot if you don't get in Discord. If you're not actively using Discord and you're not actively helping people, or if you're putting people at risk, if I'm getting DMs like, "Hey, this person almost killed the group," or if this person does things a little delayed, whatever the case may be, I'll look into it myself. But I want to assure you guys that we're looking into these things. It's not like oh, well, I'm just gonna join the guild and get a spot rating, because that's just usually not how it works. You gotta kind of be here, put some effort towards it. The people that message me, "Hey, I'm really interested in raiding," and I see them helping the guild, those are gonna be the ones that get actively put in first. So I just want to touch on that, just because I'm getting DMs about people leaving, but that is totally fine. I'm okay with that. The guild, the train keeps on rolling.
And at the end of the day, know that this isn't a decision of just one single person. This is Reap and I having a discussion, and then including the rest of the officers in. This isn't just, you know, a one person show dictating everything.
Yeah.
One last thing I want to add on is make sure you download the Attune add-on in the miscellaneous info. We do have some required add-ons, and they're required to get. One of them's being Attune, and what that lets me do is run like an audit on the guild with all the people with the add-on, and I can see who's who's completed their attunement. And before we can do Onyxia, we got to make sure we have enough people attuned. You know, I don't want to be the raid of Onyxia, or the day of Onyxia, or the day of Molten Core having to be attuning people. So get the add-on, help us out, track that, and if you need help with attunements, reach out to an officer.
Yeah. Okay, we can. Any questions about the loot?
Just a quick question for like about a month ago. I don't know this is really important right now, but was everyone okay in the hunter group okay with me taking tier 2, or did someone have a disagreement about that?
I don't.
Sorry,
That's probably something we'll have to figure out. We'll have to go over and talk about it.
I'm sorry, I caught half of that. You mentioned something about a tier 2 hunter.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we had originally discussed. Is hunter tier set is one of the odd ones where you have to rush to get one person 8 piece, so it benefits the whole raid. So that, you know, I don't think I've had anybody say anything yet, Rick. You know, I'll just double check with the other officers and get back with you on that.
Oh, cool. I didn't know if this was a good time to say or ask.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, any questions are welcome.
We'll discuss. I don't want to tell you 100% yes, but I haven't heard any complaints about that.
Okay. Go ahead.
I have a
this
quick
is
question.
Cal. So oh, go ahead. You can go first, man.
No, go ahead, Cal. Go ahead.
Oh, well, mine's really stupid. The sheet says troll no edgies for Cal, but Cal does have edgies, so I think that's kind of important.
Damn.
But that's not a question.
I know, sorry.
It's petty as fuck.
Yeah, if there's something on there that's inaccurate, we will definitely update it.
Fixed it.
Thank you so much.
For me, the question is if it's a huge upgrade that can benefit the raid team to progress, like to make the raid faster, wouldn't it be better to just attribute the loot while we're doing it?
Yes, but it also stops the raid down, and when world buffs are ticking, we're on a time frame. World buffs are more important than loot.
Yeah,
yeah.
The trash isn't gonna be like everyone's gonna have to be focused in on every single trash pool, so it's not like you just have downtime during trash that we can, afford to have people talking about loot where it should go and this and that. So it's much better that we just keep it moving.
My goal is for our molten cores to not take longer than an hour and a half. Granted, our first one probably will, but I don't want to keep people all weekend long in raid. That's not the goal. And the DPS gained from world buffs is far superior than any single upgrade from the raid.
But yeah, like if some amazing tank pants for EV drop and we know we're giving them to EV, yeah, I'll probably go ahead and trade it to them to throw on, if that's your question.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. One thing I want to note, since you talked, Krieg, is I do have you down. You're going to be my demo shout person, so if you need build, you can expect improved demo shout.
Motherfucker.
I voluntold you for that one.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
All right. Yeah, as long as I got my as long as I got my big two-handed weapon, I will do it.
So anytime demo shout isn't up, warriors, we're yelling at Krieg.
All right.
Perfect.
Sorry, is the attuned add-on you wanted us to get on Cursed, or I don't see a link in the Discord? Can I just grab the one off Cursed then?
Yeah, it's on CurseForge. It's just called Attune.
No D, A-T-T-U-N-E.
Thanks.
Attune, no D. Healers and tanks. Ideally, everybody should download. This might be the wrong spelling of it. Let me pull up my CurseForge.
All one word. It is one single word. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, it's called Classic Heal Prediction. It's a required add-on. What that add-on does is it actually shows like the incoming heals going on whoever you're healing. So it helps healers know who's being healed, and it prevents as much heal sniping as we can. And it also lets tanks know I have a healer or I don't have a healer on me now. So that's a very important one. Weak auras, I'm not asking people to have 1,000,000 weak auras. I use a lot of them. I don't expect you guys to, but there are some basic weak auras that I expect people to have, like the Roach weak aura for dungeons, lava jump in case you get lava surged into the lava in Molten Core. You have to stay alive until we can summon you out. So having the lava jump add-on really helps so you don't take damage. You know, the Strat Life Skelly one, you can win the jackpot when the Skellies come out. Nova Instance Tracker is required as well. One form of a boss mod, Attune, and then everybody needs a threat meter. And that being said, the other thing that has come up, sorry, Reap, I'll give it back over in just a second.
No, you're good.
Like I do have an open spot right now. We are open to bringing, non-meta specs like an Enhanced Shaman, a Shadow Priest, a Boomkin, or an Ellie Shaman. Right now, I don't think anybody's really reached out that wants to fill most of those roles. The Enhanced Shaman I originally had planned, I don't think is Enhanced anymore, so things kind of changed with that. But if you are interested in an off-spec role, you don't have to leave the guild. We are interested in having maybe one or two of those. I'm not going to dedicate a ton to that, but that is something we are also open to.
Yeah, and as far as the roster goes, like we said, there's a lot of new players that have joined or new guild members, so there's a lot of people that we have not put on the bench or we haven't had the chance to run with you yet or to even talk to you for that matter. So just bear with us as we continue to get to know you guys, girls, anything in between. Just give us a little bit of time to get there, and once we develop these bonds or get to know you, you'll definitely have a better shot at getting a bench spot and getting onto either a second raid or into a ZG raid. Or this is for the long haul here. It's not just for one MC, right? We want to get to know everyone in a way where we're comfortable just picking you up. Yep, let's get this guy. He's good. We can take him into raid next week or tomorrow, even. Whatever it may.
And for instance, most people know I was part of Frontier, the world first push on last hardcore. Of the 40 people that killed our first Ragnaros, 9 of us were left for Kel'Thuzad. So there's a lot of spots open. Shit happens in hardcore. Like, I can't stress that enough. I don't want people to think this is the end of the world. It happens. People go again. Some people don't go again. There are spots that come open, sometimes quicker. Reap and I have had to add and change people on the roster, I think, every night for about 4 days straight.
It's about daily.
So, because somebody dies or somebody G-quit or somebody got upset, stuff happens. So, like, it's still a work in progress. This might change by next week again. Please.
That's like the same with being, like, on the bench or tentative. Like 100% of the time, there probably will be one person who IRL stuff comes up that can't make it. So being on the bench is being ready to go. Probably a good shot getting in.
And that goes the other way too. If we hear something about you're consistently griefing someone, or you try to wipe a group for some reason, odds are you're probably never gonna raid with the group. And obviously you wouldn't be in the guild if I found out, but for the most part I haven't met anyone that, like, in the guild that has genuinely been a griefer, so we have not came across that yet, but knock on wood. What were you about to say, Evie?
I completely lost my train of thought now.
Did you want to touch on the Bronin subject?
Oh, one of the things I think everybody's gonna ask is why I have a level 47 on the roster right now. And I want to kind of like give a little shout out to Bronin here. He hit level 60. He was one of our first 60 mages in the guild. He had an unfortunate accident and died on his mage. He's run it back, and he's going to be 60 in time for raid. We've got a care package for him. We're going to help him gear up. And the reason why he's slotted into the raid, and I know a lot of mages are probably wondering why that he has the slot over them. Because for me, it's to set the example that dying in hardcore isn't the end of your journey, that you can run it back, and the raid still needs you, the guild still needs you, you're still part of this. And so for me, going into the first raid, I think that's an important example to set. You might disagree, but for me as the raid leader, I wanted to make sure that I included the first person to run it back for the guild.
Yeah, and he also donates a ton to the guild. He's actively in Discord every day, so that's also a good example to set. I think that's almost everything. If none of the officers want to touch on any other subjects, we can open up any questions to any part of the meeting. It could range from raid time and dates, if that's going to be a set thing, or if you think you can't make a certain day, you can always reach out to us. But the floor is open for any question.
I did see a question that Dooley said about raid time. If it'll be weekends, weeknights, daytime, nighttime. I think as of right now, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Reap and Evie, we're just having this time on the weekend at the 18th at night, but that's not going to be a locked-in time for the moment. We're still deciding going forward what the raid time will be.
Yeah, there was a poll, and weekends won the time frame that most people wanted, so it'd be the weekends, whether that be Saturday or Sunday, we can discuss, but right now it's Saturday, 8 p.m. EST for the first couple.
Yeah, and then Onyxia is a shorter lockout. It's not a weekly lockout, so there's some flexibility. Whenever we put signups for Onyxia out, it will be on a different timer, so I can't guarantee when Onyxia raids are, but when we can, we'll always try to get it on a weekend. But it's important we get as many Oni lockouts as we can to get the Oni heads for the guild, to get Onyxia scale cloaks going. So there's some important stuff there.
Yeah. I see a question in guild. How close are we to having 2 full guild raids? Is there someone? No, there is not anyone designated to lead that yet. I think our main focus is on this first one, getting everyone alive, and then seeing our comfortability with that. But we have plenty of people. If we wanted to just throw a raid for 2 raid groups together, we could probably do it. But that's not. It's too much risk versus reward.
That's not even a thought right now, to be honest. Let's clear MC once first, and then we can talk about that later. I mean, we're not even in MC yet, so we're not even thinking about a second raid team right now.
Yeah, I know I'm getting a lot of whispers right now. Add you to the second raid list. When we post anything about a potential second raid, you guys will be the first to know. Just kind of bear with us. Let us get through this first one, get everybody alive, and we'll be streaming it. So if you're not in the physical raid, I encourage everyone to join.
Split raid time right now is the 18th, the weekend at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I believe is 5 p.m. server.
Correct. 6 p.m.
6 p.m. server, 5 p.m. West Coast.
Yep.
Yeah. And that last slot, if you whisper me and ask me for the slot, I mean, it's going to be earned, right? So, like, if you're actively helping people and you're doing stuff, then we can talk about it. But that's pretty much where I stand with that. Any other question? It can be anything. If you're, yeah, go ahead.
Question about world bosses, a little bit different. Is there going to be like a schedule that we're going to be looking to kill them, or for phase 2? Because I think they come out phase 2, right?
Yeah, they'll be coming out on Tuesday. World bosses, it's nothing you can schedule, right? You have to have the world boss up. You have to have a raid group of people available to go in there and do it. We're going to be competing with other guilds on the server, and one thing to note is they are griefable. Like, even though we're not on a PvP server, there are things guilds can do to kill people fighting those world bosses. So, you know, I will try to rally and get people to kill them when we can do it safely, but I'll never put the risk of the guild as a whole or the raid team as a whole to go try to kill a world boss, you know, or to do it underprepared.
Yeah. I think that's a
Can I
good
add a
goal.
question to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm in a couple other guilds Discord, like talking with people. Is it possible to like just get an agreement amongst like most guilds, like most 60 rating guilds, and like somehow like come to an agreement to like when since one guild go do something, so like we're not like stepping on people's toes?
I mean,
that's a good idea, but people are greedy.
Yeah, people are greedy, and there's already 2 guilds on the server that have already shown no interest in really talking to us, so it kind of is what it is.
Yeah, do we really need them though?
We don't need them, but the idea is I don't want them to grief us, right? Like if we pull Kazakh and they send in, like they summon a bunch of level 1 alts to go die to Kazakh's Shadow Bolt volley, and he instant heals and enrages and wipes the raid, like...
They could just pull private server tactics and have a bunch of level 30 hunters and send the pets in to die instead.
Yeah.
Instead of a steady stream.
It's just, like Kazakh is infinitely griefable. Azragos not so much. You know, but sending, again, a low-level warrior in to taunt Azragos, you know, at the wrong time could fuck us. So, I never want to put the raid team in jeopardy. That's never my goal. If we can safely do it, if we've scouted the layer, if people haven't said anything, like one of the things I'll tell you guys now, if you want to do world bosses, don't tell people when world bosses are up on a layer. That's the easiest way to get that world boss griefed and killed by another guild.
And we'll just kind of have to see, you know, what the server is like. Like, we'll have a good idea of how world bosses are being killed and this and that once they're up and we see, you know, guilds killing them for a week or 2.
Yeah, and I would keep it in, like, guild chat. I know we would want to post in Discord, but we have a lot of people not in the guild that are still in Discord. Maybe other guilds that run with us pretty frequently or players from either OnlyFangs or Unboon or whatever. They're probably still lurking. Like, I know for a fact there's still some still in Discord, so not that they would go rat and, like, go tell, hey, Despair's gonna do Azure Ghost or whatever maybe. But I would love to do world bosses. I feel like we could easily do it, but we just need to be we just need to be mindful about how we go about it.
Just in case
But
a tiny violin comes in.
Yeah, we got plenty of people for it.
Just as a point of reference, apologies. You can go ahead. I was just saying that Skull Rock was like a very small server and had like 3 guilds killing war bosses, and they couldn't reach an agreement on them. So we
And
had
2 of those
drama,
guilds are
but
here, by the way.
Well, I saw Death. I didn't see Exile. Oh, well, yeah, Death Wish. Yeah, yeah.
Well, the problem with these big guilds is that I don't want to say a lot of them want to see people fail, but if it's not them, it's like fuck off. That's a lot of mentality that a lot of them have, and I've experienced it firsthand. I remember, I think I was going into ST like a month ago, and I think I was about to. I had a 5-man group. We were running down. I don't know if it was. I think it was Death or Death Wish. I don't know. One of them was like, they asked if we could summon somebody to the dungeon, and they were like, basically acting like royalty. Like, we give you rend, we give you world buffs, and you can't help us summon somebody. Basically saying the guild's trash. Now look, I mean, we're fucking huge, but that's just an example of the people I'm not going to associate with. And I don't judge anyone for hanging out or playing with nobody, but just be mindful about people and make sure you don't put yourself in a spot or a predicament where you're liable to die. Because a lot of people, they look out for number one, which is himself. And I'm trying to have this environment where we're really putting each other all in the same category. That we make sure that we all get out alive. You go in a dungeon, you come out together. That's it. If things happen, work together.
That's one quick thing I want to mention that we haven't talked about tonight. If you're in a dungeon run, and this happened to me recently, where the vibes were off, and we had some close calls, I called the run, and we all left. I want everybody to know that you're 100% empowered by the guild to call a dungeon off. If it's just not feeling right, if the healer's disconnecting or the tank's having issues, sometimes we all just play bad. I would much rather everybody just walk out of the dungeon and live than to continue playing it out and die. So just feel that the officers will back you up 100% on a decision for that.
Yep. I have no problem doing that.
Yeah, and going off of that, especially people on the bench and rosters, try to stop pugging as much as you can. I swear every day a few people tell me horror stories about pugs. Like, just don't do it. It's not worth it. I mean, obviously, if you're gonna do it, good luck, have fun. Bring 2 Petries, but we should very much be mitigating deaths and pugs. And like for me personally, I haven't been in a pug in about a month, and life's pretty good when pugs aren't a thing. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, even if the guild runs run really smooth most of the time, from what I found.
Yeah, we need to really treat each other like, it is life or death. You're playing with these people every day. That being said, even people who want to raid and you don't see your name on the bench or roster because we haven't added it to it yet or whatever the case may be, just even you be mindful of pugging. Put yourself in situations where you're set up for success. I know people say, comp doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't. You can clear all the content pretty easily with a lot of class, but make it easy on yourself, right? Like, don't handicap yourself if all is, willing and all is prepared. Just prepare for the dungeon. If you can't find what you're looking for, then just wait a couple more minutes or whatever it may be.
Tina just brought up a good point to me. That one thing I want everybody to be aware of is when we start raiding, I have a huge ask of everybody in the guild. When your character dies, don't server transfer your character while we're in the middle of raid. We have the free server transfers to the PvE realm. If you don't G-quit on that character before you take your free server transfer, it lags the entire guild out and it pops everybody back online at one time, and it can give about a minute worth of delay for some people. When we're in raid, that's really bad if you do that. So get into the habit of, knock on wood, I don't want anybody to die, but chances are people are going to die. G quit on your character after you're dead. That way, when you transfer off, you're not going to cause any lag or issues. And that's even for people in dungeons. We don't want an Uber's group lagging out on Drac. You know, get into the habit if your character passes away, G quit, then transfer.
Hey, Evie, just in terms of like a logistical thing there, would it be like a safer bet to have like officers like G kick upon death if they see it, especially in a raid environment?
Absolutely, and it's something like we can try to do. I'm gonna tell you.
It's hard to do quick though.
It's hard to do it quick, and especially if somebody like logs off right away. Now we have to click show offline people, find their name on the list. It's, you know, in the middle of raid, if I'm tanking a boss, like that's the last thing I want to do.
I'm opening guild roster.
Yeah, I'm roster maxing
Put
right
like
now.
150 people in it, looking for the right one specific name.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that's definitely a thing. I agree with you. Like outside of raid time, we'll try to do that. If we're clearing trash, we can do that. But like on a boss, I think that's not probably something that's not going to happen. I think it's just people just need to be in the habit though of if your character dies, G quit. You're gonna get kicked from the guild from inactivity anyway on the character if you're just letting it sit in the guild. So just G quit if your character dies. That's all I ask.
Yeah, and if you do end up dying on your character and you decide to go again, let us know so we can set you up. Like with bags, enchants, gear, whatever it may be, to get you back rolling again as smoothly as possible.
Maybe a really quick question here too on just some stuff. For Discord, you mentioned that there is maybe like an add-on recommended area, and then as well as you have the roster and the list of consumables. Maybe I'm blind. I totally get it, but like I don't see them right now in the Discord. Are they posted
They're
already,
not.
or are they to be posted? Okay.
I'll post them right now if people want to click it. Let me get the proper link for this.
And it'd be good to know, like, I don't know if it matters which one we choose, like between something like DBM versus Bigwigs, if it makes sense to have everyone on one or the other. But things like that would be nice to be told.
Let me not dox everybody that I have here.
Yeah, all that will be posted for everyone to kind of refer to leading up to trash and raid. And if you guys have to leave, like the meetings took a good bit, we've got through most of it. So if anyone needs to leave, you're more than welcome to handle business, whatever you got to attend to. That's pretty much all the topics I have, unless anybody has any last minute questions.
Where do you want me to put the link? We'll put it in the raid sign up channel, and I'll pin it.
Okay.
I do have a quick question / comment about the roster, and then you guys are talking about people on bench. And I'm getting to know people and make some connections here in the guild, so I do want to help out with people who need to run dungeons and stuff. And I've been tanking a lot of the dungeons, and I plan to do more of that. Obviously, some people already have most of their pre-raid bis. I obviously would be happy to help people that need stuff, but is this like a comprehensive list of sort of the people you guys have an eye on, and is this the list I should be using to kind of go about navigating, sort of helping guildmates? I know you said, you know, that's important, but it's I mean, the list is obviously pretty large. If you just look at the guild, you're taking people kind of haphazardly throughout your day when you're doing dungeon runs.
The best way I can answer that is, like, from my personal standpoint, I treat everyone as if they're going to be raiding. So it is a list that we're looking at. These are people that we need to have attuned by a certain time frame. So as long as the attunements are good, they're taking the personal initiative to get through, get where they need to be as far as gear wise. Then it kind of, everyone else kind of just tags along, and we gear everyone along the way. So we're not going to have a full group of everyone on the roster. There's going to be some people who are prepping to be on the roster. There's going to be some people who are prepping to just so they can be noticed and help the guild, so they have a chance at raiding as well. So I would just say, you know, treat it as if, like, you know, focus on the roster, but just be a good team player and help out where you can, and we notice everything.
And,
people
like
come to
he
me.
said earlier, we haven't. There's lots of people that are in here that we just haven't even met yet. This roster is not complete. Like we probably will be adding more people onto the bench or rotating people into that sheet. We just have to have more time to meet everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it is subject to change. If I find out someone on the list is doing something that they probably shouldn't be doing, or they're gold buying, or they're whatever. I mean, it's at our discretion, really. So it's like your spot is semi-secured, but if you're never in Discord or you're not as active as you should be, someone else who's showing that will probably take your spot. That's just how it goes.
Awesome.
We can only take, yeah, man. We can only take 40 people, and like I said, we got a lot of signups. We're getting there. Any other questions? I appreciate everyone here, by the way, and taking the time, and it was a big turnout. We're only going to grow from here, I'll tell you that.
Will there be snacks provided at the Molten Core?
No.
I like this guy.
Curses.
Whoever that was fucking epic.
Thank you, that's pancakes.
I like that.
So it's kind of like bring your own snack deal. Okay, thanks, man.
Yeah.
I got one quick thing that I think would be pretty helpful to the guild. Going back to like the attunements. If everyone gets that add-on and maybe we could do like a sign up on Discord of like a date and time that we could all kind of like maybe get in a group and get maybe like 10 of us to get it at one time instead of running it 10 separate times for people that are then ready to get the attunement. So like just do what you need to do to get to the point where you'll need a group, and then we could all group up and do it at the same time. I think that could speed us up a lot for like the
it brings a lot of value when multiple people are on Dragon Eyes or they're on Drac. So if you guys work on your attunements, and maybe one or two people don't get attuned by the time raid comes along and we need to fill the slot, that's another opportunity. So there's plenty of opportunities, but definitely I encourage what Kay just said. If you can get to the Dragon Eyes, find a couple more people that have Dragon Eyes or Rend or whatever or not Rend, but Drac or Rend. You need his head too. It's much more valuable to get everyone knocked out in one run than it is to do it for one or two people here, one or two people there, which we still do, right? Because people need loot, but definitely keep that in mind. I appreciate you bringing that up.
Real quick, someone's saying there's about to be an Ani dropping right now.
There is.
Yeah, there is.
1 minute.
So we should probably be ready to boon that.
Someone got an extra boon?
I got whispered here. If a raider shows up on the roster, Asteria, I'm going to use you as an example. Asteria shows up. We have our consumable list. Asteria's like, oh, sorry guys, life's been busy. I have none of my consumables. And I have somebody that's on the bench list that has all their consumables and world buffs ready to go. Chances are I'm going to bench Asteria for that raid and bring in that person to fill that slot. If you didn't take the time, like, in the entire week leading up to raid, since we're going to be a weekend raiding guild, if you don't take the time to reach out to us and just say, hey, life is really busy this week, can I get some help with my consumables? This is what I have. This is what I need. We'll stop and we'll help you, but if you can't take the time to do that, and I have somebody else showing up to raid who is prepared, I am going to take that person over you.
Period.
Jesus,
Yeah.
Daria. Come on.
Yeah, Asteria, I already know it's going to
Yeah,
be
my bad. Yep, I'm gonna. But yeah, definitely, like I said, just reach out. Just be. I mean, we're not gonna be mad because you couldn't log into WoW for 12 hours a day like I do every day. Like, I get it. Like, not everyone plays as much as I, or most of us, or some of us do. Just let us know. We'll hook you up with a buff or two. It doesn't matter. Like, just be honest. Don't come in unprepared, because that puts everyone at risk, not just you.
And one thing is, when I'm crafting flasks, please reach out to me for your flask crafts. If you have materials, they're 100% free. The guild is not charging anybody to craft anything. If you can't get the mats, if you need a Petri, if you need 3 Petries, we'll sell them to you at cost of whatever the mats are on the auction house, or if we have some banked, we'll just sell it to you to mat cost at that price. We're not trying to make money off of anybody with our alchemy crafts. Within guild, we are 100% doing it either at cost or for free if you have materials. If you are going to be reselling the flasks that we're crafting, you know, kick a little back to the guild bank and help. That's all I ask. I can't monitor what you do with it. But the other note I want to add is I'm not going to stop and go run a Skolo and get my lock in there to craft 2 flasks for somebody. We're going to wait until I have a decent amount of flasks to go craft, probably at least 5 or 10.
I want to touch on that. If the guild is donating materials and we're giving them to the guild at mat cost, and I find out that someone's getting them and reselling them, I'm kicking you. That's how that's going to go. We're not going to abuse efforts from somebody else so you can make a little profit.
So does that mean if like I farm out the mountain sage and someone else farms out the stone scales, and we brew the potion with the black locust, we can resell that because it's our mats, or was that also?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to provide your mats and then like for the Petri, then that's a little different. I'm talking about like taking one of the Petris that we provide and then selling it.
Don't walk in and be like, hey, I need 5 Petris, I'll pay you cost, and then you just go put them on the auction house. Like, that's a shitty thing to do. Like, that's just taking away from the guild resources.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I'm
let's not be
saying.
dicks. Yeah.
And if you don't think I realize it, I know like everybody's bank alt in the guild. I've figured it out.
Oh yeah, we'll find you. We'll find you.
Did you work hard on Bitter's bank or no?
That one was really difficult. I actually figured out Oni's bank because that one was pretty. Yeah, Blicky Stiffy.
Yeah, and I don't say that to like be a dick or come off any kind of way, but there's certain things that I have a limit to, and abusing everyone else in the like guild's efforts is just one of those things where I will stand firm on. So that's just with that, and not just with Petris, but you know we all put time and energy in the game. So, oh, you can boon now. By the way, if you haven't booned.
Yeah, I got griefed.
Oh, did I miss the Oni?
I forgot to I booned after Ani, but forgot to click off my old rend.
I just did the same thing, dude.
Yes.
That's whatever. There's
sorry. Quick question on consumable list here. It looks like some of these things aren't in the game unless I'm mistaken.
Which things?
Things like I think like the wizard oil maybe. I don't see anything on the auction house.
There's
Juju Ember.
There should be the lesser wizard oil, and the Juju embers you have to turn in the echo.
Okay. Yeah.
You buy the echo and turn that in.
Pretty sure oil is ZG.
Oils are
there's no wizard oil at all of any kind in the auction house right now.
Okay. I will take wizard oil off. I think it's just lesser mana oil that's available then.
For echoes, someone's gonna ask.
What?
I've been looking for mana oil for weeks.
It's the greater mana oil isn't out till ZG or till Silithus, but the lesser is out.
What about like the major troll's blood? There's nothing for major troll in the auction house either.
Major Troll's Blood is ZG.
Hold on. It's Mighty Troll's Blood, that's why. Mighty is the current one.
The 12p5 should be your best.
Yeah. I'll fix that on the sheet right now. Good catch. Sorry,
I'm trying to get this done before everyone goes to the auction house, so...
I have to go off of a bunch of different resources that have a bunch of different things, and I don't play all the classes, so... enchanting oils.
I had a very quick question about the Jujus. How much fire res do they give you for how long?
15 for 10 minutes, I believe.
So if I have like gear that is like well above the fire resistance requirement, am I also going to be required for the Jujus?
You're required to use the Jujus, yes.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Because it's still going to mitigate damage. And a note on that for fire resistance, tanks are expected, Oni and I, not the other off tanks. Oni and I were expected to hit 315 for Molten Core for Ragnaros tanking. Melee, you guys don't have a fire resistance goal you need to hit. I suggest having a little bit of fire resistance for Baron Geddon, but for Ragnaros, we'll be using the run out strat during Wrath of Ragnaros. So you'll have to run out of melee range. You sacrifice the DPS, but the offset is that you don't have to run Fire Res gear. Casters, we expect casters to hit at 200 fire resistance, but you're getting approximately 100 and I have to double check the math. It's 178 with buffs, but if you're not in a group with a shaman, you take 60 off of that. So 118 from buffs. So you're expected to get that deficit in fire resistance gear if you are a ranged player. So that's mages, warlocks, healers, and hunters.
That's the unbuffed cap, right? Or is that capped with buffs? That number.
What do you mean? Capped is 315. I don't expect you guys to hit 315. What we're
Like
expecting
mark of the.
So the
I'm talking about
yeah,
the mark of the wild buff.
Yeah, that's included in the 118 fire resistance that you're getting. Right? You're going to get the Uber's buff. You're going to get Mark of the Wild. You're going to have a Juju Ember. Those are the buffs that I'm accounting for when I give you that number. I'll write that down in the raid channel too. I'll put the breakdown so everybody sees of what you're going to get from buffs and what you're expected to have on your gear.
That would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, the goal's not to overwhelm people with this. It's really to just set it out where people can refer to it as they need to here and there and knock it out. We just want to be as safe as possible. Like I said, I don't care what drops loot-wise as long as everyone makes it out alive. But I'm pretty sure that's it. What you got something else, Heavy?
Sorry, somebody brought up the lesser mana oil. I have that on the list. That's right. I added that because the lesser mana oil is at 250 enchanting recipe, and that's being added into the game on Tuesday. That's at the Thorium Brotherhood rep vendor. So we will have enchanters that will be able to make it then. Gordok Grog doesn't come out until Dire Maul on Tuesday as well. Same with the Runtum Tuber Surprise. That's the int food that will all come out with Dire Maul.
Is Gorda Grog equivalent to the other slash item in it though, the Rumsey Black Label?
Yes, and they don't.
They're very cheap right now in the auction house for everyone.
Yeah. So and they don't stack. So if you Gordok Grog, you just buy in Dire Maul. You can walk up to the guy and buy it after you have the King buff, but you have to have a clear Dire Maul tribute to buy it.
Quick question for the Rumsey Rum. Wasn't there a bug where it would sometimes force people to disconnect if they had it on?
Yeah, if you have a Leatrix Plus, you should be able to like turn off all the screen effects that gives you.
Yeah, and there's also I think a console command. As long as you remove the screen effect that makes it look like you're drunk in game, you don't get the disconnect buff.
Gotcha.
If the console command could also be posted in the raid chat, that'd be helpful too.
Yeah.
I had a question about the Uber's buff. I thought there was a zone buff and it went away when you went out?
Right? No, it stays on. It's only an hour though, so we're gonna have to. Our first kill, it's gonna be a little cumbersome. We're gonna get the buff, then we go into the raid, and then we're gonna have to like take a break from the raid after we kill Sulfuron, because then we all have to go turn in Hands of the Lieutenants to get our douses, and then after we get our douses, we have to go back, redo the Uber's buff, and then go back in and kill Golmag, Domo, and Rag.
Yeah, and like once everyone gets the buffs, we could just like go into the instance and then log out so we don't waste time waiting for everyone else to get it.
Yeah, and we're gonna have groups of, so we have 5 priests going into raid. We're gonna have groups set up where the priests are in there and they have the right people to buff. And we're just gonna be chaining people out, and people just need to pay attention. I'll have it all outlined in a sheet for people ahead of time.
Yeah, this is random, but I'm pretty sure Dark Moon Fair comes out tonight, so you could pick up those buffs for like staying safe in dungeons and stuff.
I don't think so.
In 6 hours?
Dark Moon Fair is phase 3.
Yeah, it's phase 3.
Oh, never mind. I got baited.
And sorry, for Flashcraft, do we email your Warlock, right, Evie? Or should
Yes.
in-game mail the mats to your Warlock? Okay.
You can, if you need them crafted, mail them to EVY That's my character's name, Evy, Evie. And I'll craft them. Make sure you write something and not just send the mats, though. So write in the letter what you're expecting back from that so I can keep track. Otherwise, I'm going to lose it in the whole mix.
Yeah.
And then if you don't hear back from me within a day or so, reach out to me just to follow up. But like I said, I'm not going to go craft like 2 flasks at a time. I want to make
You
sure.
You want vials included?
You don't have to. Those are cheap enough. I can get that for you guys.
It makes it much easier if you include the vials. Yes.
There you go.
Consider it like putting an order in.
Yeah, like a work order if you ever played retail.
I think that's pretty much covered everything. If anyone has any questions, you guys are welcome to reach out after the meeting to anybody about anything in regards to raid, times, dungeons, whatever it may be. I'll probably get something together going here, like a Ubers or something for bed, but or LBRS or Skolo.
LBRS would be great. Honestly, I know there's at least me and a bunch of other people that probably need the very first step.
Yeah, I need that as well.
I forget. So I mean, this is far away, but like in raid, say everyone has Flask of Titans, right? And if you Petri, I'm pretty sure it takes off Flask of Titans.
Correct.
So I'll just be aware of that.
I don't plan on having to have people Petri, but we have the Petris as just in case. And I didn't want to put like the minimum raid quantities. I don't want to put 5 of each flask for, everybody. I don't want it to be a burden. I already know the list is intimidating enough as it is. But there's a certain amount of like realistic expectation, right? And healers, I know this probably hasn't been asked yet, but it will come up. Why do you have extra flasks of distilled wisdom? The reason for that is you can pop them like mana potions, and they give you that entire mana back, even if you already have one pop. So there.
You have to cancel the buff and then repop it to get that effect.
No. I don't know why it works that way, but it works that way. And basically, the reason why healers are like typically the lowest geared and the lowest requirement for gear and rating is because you just can pop flasks of distilled wisdom like candy and use raw mana to just heal through any.
Are we good to break or no?
I think so, unless anybody else has anything else to add.
I already asked someone privately, but like besides like the selling to gear half off to guildies, are there any other auction house rules that we need to follow?
I mean, even that's not a rule. Like, you don't have to do that. I just suggest it, but I'm a little biased because I'm the GM and I want our guildies to not pay full price for an item that a guildie has at their disposal. But what you do with it is at your discretion. So there's not really a rule to anything on the auction. It's just it's up to you what you want to do with that.
I'm going to donate to like the guild bank for consumes and everything. It's Despair Bank, right?
Yeah, Despair Bank or Despair Banks with an S. I'm gonna fix that. As far as a Nick, what's up?
Go ahead. I was just gonna say, do you have a preference on which one gets what? Like, is one of them for consumes, the other for materials and stuff like that?
Despair Bank is usually the consumable one, and the one with the S is like flask recipes and items, like for flask.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good question. Anixia, do we want to just go ahead and set it for 16th or 17th? Both of those days are fine for me. And we can just see who signs up.
I don't think we want to do 2 raids back to back to each other. I think doing it on the 16th is probably best. That way people have a little bit of time to be ready for Saturday as well.
Yep, I like that. I'm good with that. All right. I think we're good. I appreciate everybody coming into Discord. You guys are good to dungeon. Be safe. Reach out if you need anything. Probably gonna lurk for a little bit and answer whispers I probably get for the next 20 minutes.
GG, well played.
Good meeting. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
Be safe.
See you guys a bit later tonight.
See you, everybody. And if you want groups or anything, definitely hit up General or people in game and go chat, etc.
We need 2 DPS for Jedrend and Beast. Whisper Cal.
Whisper who?
CAL.
ZAL?
Sorry,
Beast.
CAL.
CAL, gotcha. Cool.
The one that bragged about Edge Masters annoyingly.
Oh, okay.
And then bragged about him. I mean, I would brag about it.
Sweet when I brag about tanking it next to you.
Yeah, but does Cal have Black Crow?
Ooh.
Cal have Skull Flame Shield.
Did this group already move down? We're about to do an Ubers for some people's attunements. I think they did.
I think I did. Excuse me. I'm just gonna go run around Winter Spring. I'm going to the Pleasure Palace.
Damn. I bought a Titans to bring with me, but I forgot it in the mail.
You brought a what?
I bought a Titans.
Yeah, I haven't bought my flasks yet. I gotta go farm.
Alright, well, I'm gonna hop down there.
Bye bye. Good luck.
Bye.
I have a feeling the only chance I raid is if we have a second or third raid team. Because I can't do that time currently, but I can do Ani. And even then, I'm going to probably just have to play a different class, but... Honestly, I don't think I'll get to raid because they seem very solid. Not gonna be too many deaths, at least in the hunters. I would imagine it's a pretty safe class. So it seems like we have a tank from Frontier as our co-GM, GM. So I assume we have a couple people from Frontier. Yeah, I will not be getting in the raid. I mean, it's nice having that many people online, though. 60 hunters we have? Nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. That's why I'd be pugging, dude. There's 14 fucking hunters. I need some glory. I need a raid. We have to be making a second team. Like, if they do well on this first clear, like, that's the other thing. I'm not trying to jump ship immediately, go into a whack-ass guild that just wipes on trash immediately. That's not glory either. Gotta die in, like, a boss fight if I die. man said don't be pugging. You just saw there's like 14 hunters online right now. There's probably like 22 level 60 hunters at least. And you know one of these dudes is gonna make a hunter alt so he can farm gold, and it's gonna end up being geared enough to run. There's probably a couple guys in here that have 260s. No light of alone. Maybe I can see if I guess Sunday or Friday raid in one of these other guilds. January 10th. Ooh. Okay, can't do Ani. Molten Core. I can join the rep farm on Friday. Man.
just the thing for you.